7 decades since the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, around 80 new fragments of the ancient texts have been revealed to the public.
Are now being deciphered 2,000 years later, thanks in part to artificial intelligence.
For decades, scholars argued over what they contained. But recently, something changed.
Why was the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls so significant?
Well, that discovery shifted the extant copies back 1,000 years.
A new generation of artificial intelligence has begun to unlock parts of the Dead Sea Scrolls that no human could decipher alone. And what it revealed has ignited open conflict among scientists, historians, and religious authorities. Some are demanding transparency, others are calling for silence. Because hidden in these texts may be a message someone never intended the modern world to see. And the deeper researchers dig, the more unsettling the mystery becomes. The accidental discovery. The Dead Sea Scrolls weren't uncovered by advanced machines or academic expeditions. They were found by chance. In the late 1940s, Bedouin shepherds wandering near the caves of Qumran noticed something unusual inside a dark opening in the rock. Scattered across the cave floor were clay jars, many broken, some still sealed. Inside them lay fragile scrolls, yellowed parchment cracked with age, their ink barely clinging to the surface. What they had stumbled upon would transform the study of history, religion, and ancient texts forever. Some scrolls had loosened enough to reveal faded Hebrew script. Others remained tightly rolled, untouched for centuries. These weren't ordinary manuscripts. They were among the oldest known handwritten copies of biblical texts ever discovered. But the find raised immediate questions. Who wrote them? Why were they hidden? And what exactly did they say? An unanswered mystery. Scholars quickly realized the scrolls were not a single collection. They included biblical books, legal documents, hymns, calendars, community rules, and strange apocalyptic visions. Some were written in Hebrew, others in Aramaic or Greek. Many were badly damaged, burned fragments, pieces no larger than a fingernail, entire texts reduced to dust. For decades, experts painstakingly tried to piece them together by hand. Some scrolls were partially translated, others resisted all attempts at interpretation. Many believed they were the work of a Jewish sect known as the Essenes, who may have hidden the scrolls to protect sacred knowledge from Roman destruction. Others argued the texts came from Jerusalem libraries, smuggled out and concealed during war. But one question refused to go away. What if the unreadable fragments contained something more, something that could challenge what we think we know about the Bible, ancient Judaism, or even human history itself? Enter artificial intelligence. That question lingered until technology caught up. In recent years, researchers began applying advanced artificial intelligence systems to the Dead Sea Scrolls. These tools weren't designed to simply translate words. They analyzed ink composition, handwriting pressure, letter shapes, spacing, and microscopic patterns invisible to the human eye. Using quantum-inspired computation and machine learning, AI systems could process thousands of variables at once, something no team of scholars could do manually. Fragments that once appeared blank revealed hidden ink. Texts long thought unrelated suddenly showed matching handwriting patterns. Scrolls previously dated centuries apart were shown to be contemporaries. Some manuscripts turned out to be far older than scholars had ever believed. Dating the past accurately. For decades, dating the Dead Sea Scrolls relied mostly on paleography, judging age based on handwriting style. It was educated guesswork. Now, AI systems were trained using scrolls that had already been carbon dated. By learning how writing styles evolved over time, the AI could estimate dates with remarkable precision, often within a few decades. This was a breakthrough. For the first time, the scrolls weren't just ancient, they were time-stamped. One AI system, nicknamed Enoch, analyzed subtle features of handwriting, stroke angle, ink flow, letter curvature. It revealed that writing styles previously believed to follow one another were actually used simultaneously. This suggested scribes deliberately preserved older traditions instead of replacing them, possibly as an act of cultural resistance during periods of political upheaval. Then came the discovery that changed everything: texts closer to their origins. When the AI analyzed fragments from the books of Daniel and Ecclesiastes, the results stunned researchers. The dating suggested these texts were written during the same period scholars believed they were originally composed. Not copies, not later revisions, possibly the earliest versions ever written. If true, it would mean some biblical texts were recorded far closer to the events they described than previously assumed. For some scholars, this strengthened historical credibility. For others, it raised troubling questions about authorship, tradition, and transmission. Debate erupted almost immediately. Hidden patterns in the text. Then the AI revealed something even stranger. As it examined the scrolls using multispectral imaging and pattern recognition algorithms, it detected structured numerical and linguistic patterns embedded in the texts. These weren't poetic repetitions or stylistic flourishes. They followed mathematical rules. Prime number groupings, binary-like structures, ordered sequences too consistent to be random. Some researchers suggested these patterns resembled encryption methods, ways of hiding information in plain sight.
Even more unsettling, certain symbolic arrangements appeared to align with ancient astronomical data. When compared with early star charts, including Chinese records over 2,000 years old, correlations emerged. It was as if the scrolls encoded references to the heavens. This raised a provocative possibility that some ancient Jewish texts contained esoteric knowledge, astronomical, cosmological, or spiritual, intentionally concealed from casual readers. A dangerous interpretation. Throughout history, sacred knowledge was often restricted to initiates, but evidence of deliberate encryption in early Jewish writings challenges long-held assumptions about religious transparency. Some scholars argue these patterns are coincidence. Others believe they reflect early forms of mysticism, precursors to traditions like Kabbalah, or even later Gnostic thought. If true, it would suggest that layers of meaning were intentionally hidden, preserved only for those with the tools or the time to uncover them. And now, artificial intelligence may be unlocking what humans were never meant to read unaided. The controversy explodes. The most controversial findings came from two tiny fragments, known as 4Q Daniel C and 4Q Koheleta. AI-assisted dating suggested they may be among the oldest biblical texts ever discovered, possibly written while their authors were still alive. This directly challenged long-standing scholarly assumptions that such books were compiled generations later. For some, this was revolutionary. For others, deeply unsettling. If these were original texts, what else might be different from what tradition teaches? Religious leaders, historians, and academics found themselves divided. Some embraced the findings, others urged caution or silence. Because once sacred texts are redated, reinterpreted, and reassembled by machines, control of meaning begins to shift. An unfinished story. Despite decades of study, the Dead Sea Scrolls remain incomplete. Thousands of fragments have yet to be fully analyzed. More caves may still hold undiscovered texts. With every new scan, the AI grows smarter. Each fragment teaches it how to read the next. What once took years now takes days. And each answer raises new questions. Were the scrolls hidden to protect them, or to protect the world from what they contained? Were they messages for the future, or warnings never meant to be heard? And should machines be allowed to decode sacred texts that humans once guarded so carefully? The Dead Sea Scrolls were silent for 2,000 years. Now they're speaking again. The only question is, are we ready to listen? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to explore more mysteries like this, like and subscribe, and check out the next video on your screen.